Hello. Hello. It's Heb Hangs, a temper Heb Hangs. What's Papa locking? Just getting my dog's hair off. My dog Rocky is actually here today, but you can't see him. He's like perfectly positioned himself behind. You can kind of see. Can you see his body? Wait, here's his head right here. I think it's like just out of frame. But he's here, I promise. Maybe he'll come over and cuddle in a bit. I'll make some space for him just in case. Wow, episode 5. I've been doing this a month. Wow. And only just now starting to get a little discouraged. Isn't that nice? Because, you know, it's not about the numbers and blah, 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 blah. But, you know, no, you know what happened is, one video did pretty well. I think maybe episode 3 got like over 500 views or something. And that was big for me. And then the next one, I think last time I checked, which was like a couple days ago, it didn't even get 100. And, but I loved recording that one. It was with my friend Ross. And I don't think I think I only posted one clip of that one. So that could have been why. The other one I posted 2. But I've been busy. So I haven't really gotten around to creating another clip. But maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll post another clip before I post this one. Because I always record these on Tuesdays, but they don't get posted they get posted when I get around to posting them. I'm trying to stick to a strict recording schedule, but not a strict posting schedule because, you know, sometimes I'll be able to finish this and then edit it right away and then upload it right away. And then weeks like this week, I can record it today, but I probably won't be able to edit it until like Thursday. And then so that means it probably won't go up until like Friday. Anyway, none of that matters. I have my beverages here. I posted a song called 3 Drinks the other day. Hydration. That song also didn't do very well, but who cares? I mean, I care, but I'm trying not to care. It's really hard not to care because, you know, I want to put myself out there and not worry about the numbers and whatever and just post what brings joy to me, which is what I did at the very beginning. But it's hard and it's scary because if something does, I hate the word flop because it's just so like mean, but if something does flop, it feels a little bit embarrassing. Like someone's watching, someone's like, oh, wow, you thought that was going to do well and it didn't. How embarrassing for you. Not you thinking you're funny or that you'd be successful. How embarrassing for you. But I know it's like, no, I'm out here putting myself out here. I'm recording these fucking podcasts for 50 people or whatever, which also that's hard to get. If I didn't have any platform or anything like, no Instagram following or anything, then I'm sure this would be even harder to get anybody to watch it. Cause like, who's going to watch something or listen to something from someone they don't know? Like that just doesn't really happen. So it's hard. But then even when they do know me, you know, getting someone to go into a different platform, take an hour out of their day to consume something I created, there's so many things that people can consume. So it's like we're all battling over a tiny, tiny bit of attention. I made a coffee just because I wanted kind of a sweet treat. I don't even really drink coffee for the caffeine. I drink it more for the sweet treat and for the vibes. I just love the vibe of a coffee. I fucking love the vibe of a coffee. Oh. That tastes fine. It tastes fine. It's kind of bitter. I just did like a spoonful of instant coffee and then I did some boiling water to mix it up. And then I did oat milk and then I did some creme brulee non-dairy creamer. But I tried not to be too heavy on the creamer because although I love a sweet treat, I try to be a little bit reasonable, but, I didn't put enough in. Oh my God. Yesterday I got a Dalgona coffee. It was like a Squid Game coffee or whatever, which is so fucking funny and so LA, but it's this really cute place. I don't know the name of the coffee shop, but the sign outside just says ice cream and coffee and it's on Melrose. And, all of their drinks are like fucking out of this world, like tiramisu with like a, you know, like a crazy whipped top thing on top, or like a strawberry matcha, or like the pink cloud latte, like all this shit, super like Asian inspired. It's like very kawaii in there, very like pastels and pink and hee. But I got the Dalgona coffee yesterday. Oh my God, that shit was, that I was drinking cake. That shit was crazy. It was so good, but so sweet. Oh, so good. Oh my God. Speaking of coffee, I paid the most I've ever paid for a non-alcoholic beverage in my life this past weekend. So I went to this craft fair. It wasn't quite downtown, but I think it was like around downtown. Just outside of it, I think. But it was this craft fair, which was really cool, but I didn't feel like spending money, so I just kind of went to look. Free parking, couldn't believe it, and no admission into the craft fair, couldn't believe it. Two things I couldn't believe. But this is how they get you. So craft fair was cool, whatever. I didn't feel like buying anything. And then as we were leaving, I was like, since I didn't buy anything, let me get myself a sweet beverage, a sweet, tasty treat. They were out of the one I wanted, which was like a lychee thing. And then I was going to get a tiramisu latte, but they didn't have decaf. And this was like 3 or 4 p.m. at that point. And I was like, I don't need coffee. So I'll be up all night. So I was like, okay, I'll get a matcha, because that technically has caffeine, but matchas never really wake me up. They always just make me feel dizzy and sick, and tired. So I was like, let's do that instead. So I got this strawberry matcha. Also, a garbage truck is going by right now and it's very loud. I don't know if you can hear it, but so I got this strawberry matcha, 16 ounces, $10.20. $10.20. Can you fucking believe that? 75 cents of that was oat milk. I'm like, bro, if you're already charging me $9.50 for a fucking matcha, you're going to upcharge me 75 cents for oat milk? And then, of course, at $1 tip, I could not believe it. I walked away paying $11.50 for something that made me sick to my tummy. That was so fucked up. And you know what? It's one of those moments I wish I just walked away when they told me the price. I wish I just walked away, because they did not have the prices listed. How convenient. They were out of the decaf. They were out of the lychee one I wanted. $10.20 plus tip. That shit is insane. Astronomical. Okay, I guess I can tell you about my week. My week last week was actually very busy. So like I said on my last episode, if you watched the one with Ross, which is a very fun, chaotic episode. If you just want to feel like you're not alone and just have some people around you, then that's a great episode, because we switched topics probably on average every 20 seconds. It was like very chaotic. But anyway, we talked a little bit on there, but I was saying how I've given up my job search because I am recommitting to this type of stuff, just like creating and content and taking a leap on myself. And something I realized is I've never had to take a leap on myself before, on my art, because when I first started doing my PSA videos, it was lockdown. So I was working at a doggy daycare in London. I was living with my ex-husband, which I'll get into. I was living with my ex-husband, and when lockdown hit, we were all still getting paid. I think it was like 60% of our wages or 80%. And I didn't make a lot of money there, so it wasn't a ton, but it was like something. And then my ex was still making money. So we were fine. Like, we weren't rich or anything, but like we didn't need to be like hustling, or I didn't need to be hustling. So it just kind of naturally eased into making my videos. And, you know, early lockdown, like first 6 months, honestly, was like a great fucking time. It was just, you know, I would get up, I would have an idea for a video, I would write the song, record, film, post, all in like 3 or 4 hours, sometimes even 2 if it was like a short thing. I was like really having fun experimenting and trying new things. And then the next day I would play Zelda all day. I would wake up, play Zelda, only stop to eat and then go to sleep. And then other days I would read all day. I would read like entire books. I read so many books that year. I read 27 books in 2020, which is just so crazy. Because I don't know if I even like finished a whole book this past year because my attention span's been so bad. But damn, I miss reading. Fuck, I miss reading. That's like the main reason I want to fix my ADHD. Well, maybe not the main reason, but that's one of like top 3 reasons is I miss reading. But anyway, so it just went in kind of seamlessly. And then I started making money from it, and still we were fine. He was making money. So any money I was making just felt like, oh, bonus. And then I started making more money than him. Like when HBO hired me, and it was like 20 grand. And then when the colored hair video went viral and Sally Beauty signed me on for a contract, that was more money. That paid my rent for like a long time. That was crazy. But I just never had to, it just kind of naturally happened. And then when we divorced and I moved to LA, I had no choice but to live off of it because I was still making money from it. So it's like, okay, great. The money from these gigs and the gigs that I'm still getting are like paying my rent, blah, 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 blah. It's just all like kind of happening naturally. And then once it slowed down, that's when, like this past year, that's when I've started to have to ask myself like, okay, how in this am I? Because now it's getting hairy. Am I committing to this? Am I getting a full-time job? Was this just a fun little blip? Like what do I want to do with this? So, you know, I kind of panicked and I've been looking for jobs and stuff like you may have seen in my earlier episodes, but started looking for jobs. And I do have one part-time gig that I really like, but it's seasonal. So it's not even happening right now. And it's like so few and far between and it doesn't really pay anything. So I kind of just do it because it's super fun. But yeah, I've been looking for another job and I just kind of decided a couple weeks ago, after I didn't get the donut job, I just decided, okay, this is the time to take the leap. This is the time I'm going to stop looking for jobs to feel like, cause I kept telling myself, if I just get a part-time job, then I'll feel okay. And then everything else can fall into place and all my stress will be gone because I won't have to worry about money and I can just create freely. But I'm like, you know what? If I didn't get these jobs that I feel like I should have gotten, like this one and then the doggy daycare one, I'm going to stop fighting this and just take a fucking leap and just invest a lot of time into my art and comedy and writing and all these things and just trust that it'll work out. Anyway, so last week was pretty busy. I filmed, edited, and posted my tattoo video. Having tattoos doesn't make you unprofessional. I'm really proud of that one. I really liked that one. That was a super fun song to write and record. I wrote that song with my friend Cody Swan, who's the other guy in the video. He's very talented and has the coolest tattoos that I like, literally my favorite tattoos on anybody that I've ever seen ever. So that was super fun. And then I filmed that with my brother Ty as well. He is a videographer. So that was really fun. And I'm still in my improv classes. And then I started improv classes at a second school. Sorry, I feel like I'm being boring. Well, whatever. It's honest and it's true. So, but sorry if this is boring. But anyway, and then I started improv classes at a second school. So it's going to overlap for just a couple weeks where I have 3 improv classes a week. And then this week, at the end of the week, one of the schools I go to loves to, to promote diversity. So they're having like all the brown people do a class for free on Friday. I had to apply to see if they had a spot, and then it's going to be taught by some brown teachers and they're going to take pictures. So basically, just to get some black people on the cover of their school to show that we have black and brown people, whatever the fuck, I get a free class. So I signed up. I don't care. So this week I'll have 4 improv classes and then been going to some comedy shows and, I love going to comedy shows. I really want to go to more, but just tickets are expensive and stuff. But, I would love to go to more. I love going to stand-up shows. I love going to improv shows. I don't know if I've ever been to a sketch show. But that would be cool. But yeah, I don't know. So basically what I'm saying is I'm out here doing the damn thing. I'm fully taking a leap. And then I got a job. DoorDash hired me again. So she lives to pay rent for another month. She lives. So that's pretty exciting. And then there are some other kind of prospects on the horizon, but who knows, whatever, things fall through, things happen, blah, blah, blah. We'll see. But DoorDash is happening. I've started working on that. I'm sending over the first draft of the song today. I feel like I did something else. Oh, and then I met up with my friend last week who wants to help me with some videos. So that's really exciting because I've been looking for some help with videos because my ideas are just, they require another set of hands sometimes. So, and I can't pay people. So I've just been looking for people who want to make shit and believe in it and just kind of want to have a good time and know that there's no money involved yet. But when there is money involved, then I will hire them. If I'm getting paid for something and I need their help, they will also be getting paid. But if I'm just doing it for vibes, they also just need to be doing it for vibes. So yeah, let me drink this bad coffee. So it's been pretty exciting. I have this clip in my hair because I'm leaving in a couple hours and my hair takes hours to dry. So I'm trying to dry it in this position. So that's what this clip is for. I was thinking of locking my hair, but I'm scared. I'm really scared. And also the girl who was kind of my first inspiration, West Indy Ray, just combed out her locks. And I was like, no, no. I was looking at your pictures and your inspiration, you were my inspiration. And now what? If you don't have locks, how can I have locks? Oh no. So I'm kind of freaking out about that. But that's not the only reason. I was scared anyway. It's really expensive to get done because I would have to get instant locks. And that would cost $500 to get done. So holding off on that. I thought it was going to be $200. And so a couple weeks ago, I thought maybe I can swing it. But since I'd have to get instant locks, it'd be $500. And then you have to get retwists every 6 weeks. And that's $100 to $150, which is kind of honestly, that's about how much I pay for haircuts now. I stretch out my haircuts. I probably get a haircut once every 3 or 4 months. But as I was trying to grow it out for locks and stuff, I was trying not to get haircuts too often. And also they're just too expensive to be getting every 6 weeks. But yeah, I don't know. It's a lot to consider. And then also, you know what? I'm scared that it won't look good. I'm scared that I won't get the right thickness, that they'll either be too thin or too thick and that I'll hate them. And I'm scared of not feeling pretty. I am scared of not feeling pretty. That is real. That is real. Cause you know what? I love playing with my feminine, masculine energy. I think I embody both and it's fun. And sometimes I feel extra femme and, I love little pastel rainbows and shit like that. But then I also like wearing combat what the fuck are they called? Camo pants and combat boots and a big shirt so no one can see my body. I don't know. I like both. Oh, but that kind of reminds me of something else. Wait, what the fuck was I talking about before though? Oh, with the locks. I'm scared that it would be just super masculine. Even though when I see it on other women, I don't think, oh, that makes you look more masculine. I'm scared for me. So I don't know. Still something I'm considering. I was thinking about dyeing them blonde. Maybe. I think that might be fun, and it is a commitment, but you also can brush them out. So it's not easy, but it is possible. I don't want to shave my head again though. I've been growing my hair out now for 1.5 years. Look at that. Look how long my hair is. It's pretty fucking long. But on the feminine and masculine thing, something I was thinking about yesterday. Right. So something I was thinking about yesterday, the last couple days, I don't like when people don't have their height in their dating profile. On Hinge, you have to. It's required. I'm not sure about Tinder. I don't use Tinder really ever. I think I got it for a couple weeks last year, but that was it. But on other apps, it's not required like it is on Hinge. So, but then I have this thing. I don't know. I just okay, I don't want to make anybody feel bad about their height. So I feel bad having a height preference. On that, I don't know if I actually do have a height preference. But on that, I think maybe I've just told myself that I didn't because I didn't want to make anybody feel bad. So my ex-husband was my height, sometimes shorter, depending on the angle, sometimes a little bit taller. Rocky, hi, buddy. Hi. Do you want to come over here? Do you want to come here? Rocky, do you want to come here? He said absolutely not. He's comfortable. Oh yeah, but we were the same height depending on the angle, and I think I was genuinely fine with it at the beginning, but I think as time went on and I was like less attracted to him, then I think that just like added to it. Like, and another thing, and you're fucking short. Like, but I don't know. I think maybe I prefer it, but it's not an absolute deal breaker. That being said though, I feel like I've dated enough shorter men that like, especially now as I'm not looking for anything serious, I can be picky because I just want to like try different things. I was going to say shit and then things, and I stumbled on my words. Try different shit out, different things out. There we go. So I kind of just want to date tall guys just to see if I'm into that. And I hate when they don't have their height on their profile. Cause it's like, don't make me fucking guess. And like, I understand maybe you're 5'9", 5'8", 5'7", 5'6". Like, okay. And you know that's going to shrink your dating pool a little bit, but like, I'm gonna need you to be honest though. Like, I understand, but like, don't make me fucking guess. And if you make me guess, someone's going to get their feelings hurt because I'm either just gonna, excuse me. Oh no, I'm kind of scared. I kind of think I'm getting sick. Oh no, do I have COVID? I was so fatigued the other day, and then I wasn't fatigued yesterday, but then now I kind of have a runny nose and I'm sneezing a little bit and it's getting kind of stuffy. Might take a test. Anyway. Yeah, so like someone's going to get their feelings hurt because I'm either just going to swipe left because I don't feel like guessing and I don't want to ask you to make you feel bad. But then the other day I was like, this guy was so cute. He was so cute, but he posted a picture, didn't have his height, of fucking course. He posted a picture that made him look like he was 5'1". And I was like, that's a deal breaker for me. I'm 5'8". I don't want to lean down that much. Even with girls, I don't want to lean down that much. That's like really shorter than me. So I asked him, I messaged him and I was like, hi, you're very cute. I prefer to date guys my height or taller, and I'm 5'8". So how tall are you? And he said, I'm 5'7". And I was like, oh, bummer, sorry. And then I just deleted him. I'm like, if you had that in your profile, we could have just saved this whole thing. And then people, I asked about it online, and some people on Reddit were like, you just go on the date and then see. I'm like, but that's time out of my fucking day. That's getting ready. That's energy, whatever. And it's like, if that's not what I want, that's not what I want right now. I don't have to give everybody a chance. And I think I used to think that I had to, or I was shallow, or I was mean, but it is perfectly okay to prioritize looks. That is perfectly okay. Obviously, well, not obviously, for some people, looks all that matters, looks and money, whatever. But I need a lot more than looks, but I'm tired of trying to act like holier than thou, like, oh, looks don't matter to me. Height doesn't matter to me. It's about what's in their heart. And if they're cute, that's a plus. No, like, honestly, my first boyfriend is the hottest person I've dated. Like, I was like, holy fucking shit. Every time I saw him, I was like, you're so hot. You're so hot. You're so hot. And I haven't really been with many people that I think that way since. And I think maybe part of that is a me thing, like thinking that I can't get them. But also, I don't know, because I haven't really been picky, because it has been like, oh, if you make me laugh and we get along, like, sure, which is fine. But now I'm like, let me just try it the other way. Let me just only kind of give someone a chance if I think they're really fucking hot. Let's just see what that feels like, what that turns into. Sue me. Everyone else does this. I always felt like, oh, I'm not allowed to be like that because I'm like better than that, or it's my duty to make these men not feel bad about themselves. But you know what the fuck I say to that is exactly what you think I'm gonna say. Fuck men. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? They can get knocked down so many goddamn notches. I do not fucking care anymore. I do not fucking care. If you don't knock my socks off, keep it moving. You know what I realized this last week too? I'm hot. Who would have thought? You know, you go through phases and you go through different, you know, insecurities and ups and downs and all that. Bitch, I'm fucking hot. Who would have thought? I'm cute as hell. What? I can be picky. I'm cute as hell. I got a little booty. I got boobies. I like my body. I like that I'm funny. I like my teeth. I like my eyes. I like my hair. And this goes without saying, but obviously this does not mean that anybody else is any less pretty or any less attractive or anything if they have different hair or different teeth or different body or no boobies or no booty. I just happen to love what I have. I am pleased and I want to take care of it and I want to be good to it. And I only want to give it what it deserves. You know what? I saw this bitch on TikTok, girl on TikTok. Excuse me. Why do I do that? I saw this girl on TikTok a couple weeks ago say something like, yo, we are giving it up way too fucking easy. Are you kidding me? We're not even making these men work. We're just letting them inside of our bodies for doing the bare fucking minimum or being like kind of cute or like, no, you gotta knock my socks off to get near me now. I haven't hooked up with anyone in months. Oh yeah, so with the masculine and the feminine and the energy and all that, what I was saying earlier is okay. So when I like to play with my masculinity and my femininity, I feel this is not correct or true or real for everyone else, whatever. This is just how I feel. And with certain insecurities I'm battling or ways I see myself or things I desire or whatever, I feel more feminine next to when I'm shorter than a man. It makes me feel more feminine because sometimes I get scared that I'm like too large or something, or like I take up too much space, or I'm too tall, or I'm a giraffe, or I'm not like dainty or cute enough, which I know is, some fucking bullshit I've been sold, that like to be feminine you have to be like some dainty little bitch or something. So let me stop saying bitch. But anyway, as I'm playing with this shit, I'm just like, okay, what's it like to be next to a tall man and I feel feminine next to him? Now with women, I prefer them to be a little bit shorter than me. And then I like to feel masculine. I don't feel like I am a masc, because in the queer world, as I'm learning, and I'll teach you as I'm learning, women will say that they're a masc looking for a femme, or they're a femme for femme, they're a feminine woman, and they like to date other feminine women or whatever, or masc for masc. And I would say that I lean more towards being a femme, but since I have so much masculine energy, it makes, I don't know. I honestly like both. I like femmes and mascs. So, I don't fucking know, but I think I prefer both of them, no matter who it is. If they're not a man, non-binary, female, whatever, I think I prefer them to be a little bit shorter than me, because then I like to play with my masculinity and I kind of feel like, yeah, I'm fucking masculine and you're not. I don't know. Or you are. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. I guess I'm just experimenting is what I'm saying. Okay. Okay, fine. I'm really scared that this is going to be messy. Maybe it is a little bit messy. But it is my story. I can tell you why I got divorced. What exactly happened. Let me take a sip of my sweet treat. Bitter. Okay, so as I was saying before, I think it's episode 3, if you wanted to go back and watch more about how I met my ex and whatever. But so like I was saying, we were together for a couple years. We got married after 10 months. I immediately moved to London and we started fighting a lot. I think being long distance for so long put a strain on our relationship because I don't know. It just put the strain. There was an 8-hour time difference. One time he told me that when he saw me calling, he would go, "Oh no." He was like, ugh. And then I would like call him out on the phone. I'm like, it sounds like you don't want to talk to me or something. And he'd be like, no, yeah, I do. And I always thought I was crazy. And then years later, he told me that he actually saw me calling and was like, ugh. And I was like, oh, okay. But I think that put a lot of strain on the relationship. It's hard to get to know each other like fully. And we just kept being like, oh, well, once we're together, it'll be good. And then once we got together, it was a different dynamic. You know, we still got along as friends, but then we were living together, and I've never lived with someone before, and splitting up chores and stuff is like very difficult to do. So that there's no resentment and you feel like everyone's pulling their weight and all that. So we started fighting about stuff like that all the fucking time. And so we just kind of weren't really like healthy in that way. And neither of us handled our anger well. So there was a lot of yelling and shit. And it was just gross. It was just gross and pretty toxic, honestly. So then lockdown happened. In lockdown, we ended up moving, and we always called this house like, there wasn't a specific name, but sometimes we called it like the hell house, or like the house that ruined everything, or like, it's basically when everything just hit the fucking fan. It was this crazy chimney in East London. The area was really cool. If you're familiar with London, it was really close to Aldgate East Station, which is close to like Shoreditch, if you know London. But East London, so just like a vibey area, very walkable, lots of art, and I was vegan at the time, lots of vegan food. It was very nice. And we lived in this old chimney, and I didn't really care to move, but he had just left his music studio that he was sharing with his friends forever. And then he wanted to bring the studio into the house. And so we wanted to find a place that had another room so he could work from there. And then, you know, we were like economically, and then the sessions can be at the house, and we'll save money on a studio space by just having it at home, and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, sure, like whatever you need to do, that's fine by me. And it was an old chimney for the old underground steam trains. Before they turned into the tubes, what they are now, they were steam trains, and they had these massive chimneys. Like this, the whole size, you don't know my apartment obviously, but the whole size of my apartment is like the size of the chimney. So it was very vertical. You walk in and it's the kitchen just on the first floor. The kitchen, it was like a dungeon down there. I always called it a dungeon. It was dingy. It was dank. It was dark. The floors were gross. The cabinets were gross. I hated it down there. It was cold. We had mice because it was like a super old building, and there was like drafts coming in from underneath the door. It was fucking weird down there. And that's where our shower was. And they turned it into a warehouse after the chimney. So it was like a warehouse shower. It was just like really small, no tub or anything. It was just like cold. Ugh, I hate like cold feeling places. But so we moved in there, and then the second floor was a living room, that we ended up turning into his studio. Had a really high ceiling, so it was really hard for him to soundproof it and stuff. And then the next floor up was the smallest room. There was a bathroom on that level and a pretty small bedroom, but we took that bedroom. That was originally his studio, but it was too small, so he took the living room, and we turned that into our bedroom. And then on the top floor was the master bedroom, and that was the prettiest. Every floor you went up, the house got nicer. On the top floor, it was gorgeous. It was so beautiful, so much natural light, like nice wooden floors. It was old still, but they had like redone the windows, so it wasn't as like dank. And then that also had a ladder that you could take up onto the roof. So we had a really nice rooftop spot, and when it was sunny, it was beautiful. And so we turned that up there into the living room / my creative studio, like when I started making my videos and doing music and stuff like that. So that was a really nice space up there. When we moved into that house, we had a lot of problems because having the studio in that house was rough. I was really insecure because I felt all this energy inside of me that wanted to come out, and I knew that I was meant to be doing something big, something important. I knew I was supposed to be creating something, just something was inside of me, and I was just like, I'm more than what I'm doing, and I just don't know what it is. And that's when I was thinking, like, am I supposed to go back to school? Is it now this Instagram stuff that I'm doing? Like, okay, if it's this, then like, what do I turn this into? Is it Like I kept thinking still at that point, I was like, okay, Instagram's popping off, but now I can lead people to my music. So then I was trying to like continue to write songs, and I was like, maybe it's music still. But then in the meantime, we're having all these musical artists come to the house every day, and every day you just have a new person in the house who's like fucking obsessed with themselves, and like, which you have to be an artist. You literally have to be. But I just could not take the energy. They were like fucking obsessed with themselves, and like, oh, fuck off. Did you hear that take? Fuck off. Did you hear that? I did that. I literally just did that. Run it back. Woo! You hear that? Oh my fucking, and I'm just upstairs like, shut up. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Cause I was jealous. And then, you know, we'd all eat lunch together or something, and they're just like, oh, my manager this, my manager that, my team this, my label this, blah, blah, yeah, the EP's coming out this summer. Yeah, they say it's going to be real big. Yeah, and then I'm going on tour. And I was just like, shut up. And so I fucking hated everyone. But I didn't hate everyone. There were a couple really cool people who I ended up becoming kind of friends with. But for the most part, I was just like up in my room, just like my hands covering my ears, and I couldn't make too much noise because they were recording. And I had to like walk through the living room to get outside. So if I needed to take my dog out, or if I needed to run to the store or something, I had to like go through their session. And I was just like, hi. And, you know, there were some positives. Like it was fun. I got put on a lot of songs because I was in the house. So if they needed background vocals, they would hit me up and I would just come down and add vocals. So that was always fun. But for the most part, it was just like bad energy. And I know you got to be obsessed with yourself to be an artist, but man, they were annoying. Even if I wasn't jealous, some of them were so annoying. I remember this one girl gave me her phone to take a picture of her while she was singing, but she didn't even sing. She literally handed me her phone and then she goes, okay, great. And I was just like, ugh, I hate whatever this is. This like performative, ugh. So anyway, so then my energy was bad and we fought a lot over that. And then, you know, his stuff, it felt like his stuff came first for a really long time. So I had to be quiet and all that. And then as I started making money, it was kind of like, okay, well, I'm going to need some space here too. I'm going to need you to bend for me. I need you to be quiet right now. Or like, I need the house for this thing or whatever. But then he started getting bitter. Like when his stuff slowed down and then my stuff was picking up, he was like bitter that I would be on meetings and calls. So it just flip flopped. He was then bitter with me. And then I would have friends over to work on stuff and he was like just kind of a bitch to them, like for lack of a better term. I remember one time I filmed a sketch with some friends. I remember one time I was filming a sketch with some friends and they came over and after we were done filming, we all went up on the roof just to chill. And he came up and he was like, his like claim to manhood was him being able to do whatever he wanted and like, you're not gonna tell me what to do. And I was just like, can you just not smoke weed in the house when my friends are here? Like, and it wasn't even I smoked. It's not even like I hate weed or anything, but it's just like, oh, my homies are coming over, can you just smoke on the roof if you want to smoke or whatever. So he's very much like, I get to smoke. So then we all went on the roof after, and then he came up and he just like sat with his arms folded and like lit up a joint. Like, I don't even think he wanted to smoke. I think he just wanted to prove like, I'm allowed to smoke in my house. We were outside, but you know, it was just like fucking weird. He was like kind of trying to intimidate my friends, or just like he like hated any men in my life. You know, he said he was cool with me having guy friends, but then did shit like that. Just kind of had to like big dick everyone. Maybe it's because he was short. I don't know. But so just energy and then I started to resent this man, and I was getting so unattracted to him. And then with the household stuff, I was like, I'm really like unattracted to this person who like doesn't know how to clean a toilet properly and like doesn't stick to his word when he says that he's going to start helping around the house. I just didn't feel like I could rely on him. And we ended up having a conversation about that. And that was like one of the hardest conversations I've ever had in my life, because how do you tell your partner that you're like losing attraction to them? But I said exactly why and exactly what could be done. I was like, these are the steps that can be taken. Like, it's literally helping out around the house, and like maybe get a better haircut. Like, genuinely, please just get a better haircut, because whatever's happening now is so bad. And that was like a really hard conversation, but I did it. And we were like crying, and we were like, oh no, what do we do? But then we kind of, you know, we came to the end, and he was like, okay, I understand. Like, I want to fix this. So like, let me do these things. I was like, great. Nothing changed. There wasn't even the like fake facade of something changing for a couple days. Nothing changed. It went straight back to normal immediately. Almost it, like if you were watching this and that conversation was cut out, you would not have known that there was anything in the middle. From point A to point B, it was exactly the same. So that's when I was like, okay, so when I'm honest and I state my needs and all that, nothing fucking changes. So now what? And at that point, you know, I'm married. I wasn't Christian anymore, but I was still raised with Christian values, and Christian values say that you make it work when you're married. Like, you do not get out ever. You are there to fix it. So not once did it come across my mind to leave. And like, especially not over this. It's like, no, this can be fixed, especially because I know what can be fixed and I'm telling you what can be fixed. And also at the same time, I'm going to therapy. I'm trying to handle my anger better. I'm trying to state my needs better. You know, we talked about this in therapy so much. I was like, I don't know what to do. Like I tell him that hiking is so good for me and I would love if he planned a trip sometime. And my therapist is like, well, why don't you order him some hiking shoes and that'll jumpstart it. So I order him some hiking shoes and I'm like, let's go on a hike. And it just like never happened, you know? And I was really fucking trying. Or, you know, he needs a list of things to do around the house, even though I don't get a fucking list. I just use my goddamn eyes. My therapist was like, maybe write him a list. Just try it. And I was like, God, okay, I'll write you a fucking list. So I wrote him a list. Nothing ever happened. I'm like, I literally don't know what I'm supposed to do at this point. I was trying every which way, man. I fucking promise you. So it got to a point after that conversation and nothing changed. I did not recognize this correlation at the time, but since then, I know what happened. This is the big kicker. I asked for an open relationship. Okay. Which in and of itself, not inherently bad, open relationships. I think they're for a lot of people. They're not for me, and I don't think they're for him. We found that out. So I asked for an open relationship because, well, at the time, this is what I thought. Because it genuinely felt like we were in a pretty good place at that point. And by pretty good place, I mean like we hadn't been having massive fights for 2 or 3 months. And so it's like, wow, we're like solid. We're doing so well. And so I thought, oh, this is a perfect time to introduce that. Because at the beginning, we had kind of been talking about it, because even as I was getting married to him, putting a ring on my finger at the age of 21, having slept with 8 people at that point, I remember thinking something along the lines of, is this really the last person I'm ever going to have sex with? I kind of don't believe that. So I started to feel throughout my early 20s like I was missing out. He had his hoe phase. He was 5 years older than me. So when we got married, he was like 26, I think. He had his hoe phase, slept with a ton of people, done a ton of drugs, whatever. He got it all out of his system, as they say. I hadn't. I don't have any desire to like try drugs. Well, certain drugs, some. But sleeping around was something that was like really hard for me just from my like Christian background. So I didn't experiment a lot. I didn't even know I was queer until after I got divorced, you know? So there was like a lot of undiscovered stuff. So when we got married, I felt like I was missing out. You know, my friends who were all in college or in their early 20s, they had moved out, whatever. They were like trying stuff. They were getting these fun stories, like, I don't know, going to clubs and kissing random people. Like, I didn't know how much I wanted to do just stupid stuff like that. But I was like, yeah, but first and foremost, though, this marriage is still my number one priority. This was not me trying to be sneaky. It was me really trying to find like a good solution. I was like, okay, well, I absolutely do not want to leave him. I 100% want to make this work. I also feel like I want to kiss other people. So, and there's something that I've been hearing about called an open relationship. So maybe this is the solution. Maybe this is for us. Maybe this could work. So we had tons of conversations about it. We read books, or I read books, listened to podcasts, read articles, like really tried to get an understanding of what this could look like. We made lots of rules and agreements and promises. One of those being the other person could veto someone's date or meetup At any point, the person could be 1 foot out the front door, and the other one could say, actually, I don't want you going. Sorry, I'm going to need you to cancel the date. And we were like solid on that. Then we start in this open relationship. First of all, my first experience, the first person I met was very bad. And I don't mean bad like it was a bad hookup. I mean bad like I was assaulted. It was bad. I was like eager to jump in and try it, and I didn't really like screen this person very well. Not me immediately like victim blaming. We talked for like a couple of weeks actually. Like I thought he was cool. I thought, but he was like older. I was 24 I think at the time, and he was 36 or something like that. And yeah, it was like really bad and kind of traumatizing. And after that, we were like, let's close it. And I think maybe he had one experience. But after that, we were like, let's close it. This is not good. Like, let's just recover for a second. Then I'll just do this chronologically. So we closed it. Then there was this lady who I knew in London who is the worst person to date that I've ever met in my entire life. She is the fucking worst person. Like the true epitome of a narcissist. And I'm not just throwing that around like, oh, she was kind of self-absorbed. No, if you look up the definition of narcissist, her picture is there. She is insane. So I became friends with this lady. She was like in her 40s, I think. And I historically have kind of been drawn to narcissists because they project such confidence in the beginning, and I wanted that confidence, and I was like, wow, I want to be so sure of myself like this person. So I would just kind of like follow them around like a little puppy, and I would kind of do what they said for a while until I caught on. But so this is one of those people. And she and I had hung out a couple times. Our dogs were friends, so we would go to the dog park and stuff. And then near the end, I was kind of just like, you know what? When we hang out, I don't think she lets me talk. She cuts me off. I don't think she respects what I have to say. So I was kind of like, I don't know about this. And then one day she invited me and my ex over for dinner. She was having a dinner party with like a couple of her friends. And I knew this lady did a lot of coke. And on the way there, I said to my ex, I was like, she's going to offer us coke. Maybe not. I've never done it. I know he used to do it, but he stopped doing all drugs when we got together because I was just like, I'm not really trying to be around that. It wasn't like a hard and fast or whatever. It was just kind of like, that's just not for me. And I don't really want my partner doing that. But like, if you want to, maybe we have a discussion, but just the general rule of thumb is that's not really happening in this relationship. So on the way there, we talked about that. We were like, yeah, she's going to offer it. Tonight's not the night. And it was just like, cool, whatever. And it wasn't like a, you better not. It was just like a, we're just agreeing this isn't happening tonight. Anyway, so we get to this dinner. The entire time she is being so disrespectful to me. She is being so mean to me. Mean. One of her friends asked me what I did for work. And we were talking about my Instagram and stuff. And she asked how many followers I had. And I told her, and she goes, this lady, I should give her a name. How about Terry? Terry goes, yeah, that's not actually a lot of followers. I was like, okay. Like, she was just like tearing me down at every point. I brought my dog Rocky, and she kept giving him human food. And I looked at her and I was like, Terry, do not give him another chicken leg. And she looked me dead in the eyes and handed him another chicken leg. Like the most disrespectful person on planet Earth. Kept disrespecting me all night. Kept disrespecting everyone. Was saying like racist comments to one of the other people. Just fucking evil lady. Then they all started doing coke. Whatever. I was like, that's fine. I'll just look away. I don't even like to see it. I was like, that's fine. I'll just look away. The whole time also, my ex is just sitting there like a fucking idiot. Not saying anything. Not defending me. Letting her talk shit about me. Just sitting there like an NPC ass motherfucker. And I hated it. I hated the whole night. We get home, and Sleep it off. Next morning, I'm like, oh my God, I hate that woman. I think I'm done hanging out with her. She was so mean to me all night. I think we talked about like, maybe you could have defended me, but like we weren't fighting. I think we were fine. We were just like, ugh, that was awful. And then he goes, I have a confession. I was doing coke with everyone every time you went to the bathroom. I was like, what? There was one point. Oh, I remember during the dinner, there was one point when I thought I saw some white stuff and I thought, no, I'm just being crazy. I'm being paranoid. I'm not trusting him. Of course he's not doing coke. That's crazy of me to think that he would be doing that. And then I remember at one point, everyone was doing it and he did this like stupid childish thing. He just goes like, he didn't even look at me. He just goes, just a little bit. I just want a little. I was like, what? He's like, I just want a little. Like a fucking toddler asking for some chocolate. But yeah, obviously come to find out he had already been doing it and was like coming down and wanted some more. But I was like, what are you talking about? Like in front of everyone, you're like mumbling, I just want a little. When we already had a conversation about this, like what the fuck is going on right now? So the next day when he told me, we fucking fought. We fought. I was so hurt. That was a level of betrayal that I'd never experienced. I was like, okay, so this woman who is basically my enemy, who's so mean to me, disrespectful, sat there all night, was so mean to me, and you sat there, you watched, and then you had an inside secret with her that I was not a part of to further isolate me from the group. I couldn't believe it. I was so fucking betrayed. I was so betrayed that I booked a flight to Washington and I left. I was like, I need to get the fuck away from you. So that's what I did. And, you know, at first he was like, you know, you shouldn't be so crazy about drugs. It's just coke or whatever. And I was like, that's obviously not the point. If we had the, like, okay, yes, I have admittedly said that I don't like to be around that stuff. I don't like to see it. But if we had the conversation, if you had said that you wanted to do it that night or whatever, that is completely different than us agreeing. It could have been anything. It could have been eating sugar. It's not about the drugs. It's the fact that we agreed on something and you went behind my back and lied to me all night, betrayed me. So he just was not getting it and I fucking left. Eventually, you know, kind of got it and we kind of came to an understanding, whatever. Relationship was closed. We were not open at the time. And I remember I had a therapy appointment and I was explaining to my therapist all this and she goes, is he mad at you about something? Because that sounds like he's mad. Because otherwise, why would he do that to you? And I was like, oh my God, maybe he's mad, even though he has not said that or implied that or anything. Maybe he's mad that I asked to open the relationship. So I asked him that. And he was like, you know what? I think that's it. I don't like that. And I was like, okay, sounds good. It's closed. Because like I said from the beginning, my priority is us. You know, we were trying that out, seeing if we could add that to our relationship. But first and foremost, I care about us. So if you're not vibing with it, fine. Closed, done. Let's work on us again. Cool. End of a chapter. Like 2 months later. And then also with my assault and all that, it was just like done. I think the assault happened like really close before the coke incident. And so I don't know if it was like fully closed or I can't remember. But after that, we were like done. Then a month or two later, he asks me to open it again. And I was like, what? I thought we were done, whatever. And he's like, no, I'm feeling good about it. I think we can do it. You know, we tried it, we closed it, we were learning things, but I think let's open it. And I kind of reluctantly agreed. I mean, I agreed, but I was like, I wasn't reluctant. Like I didn't go against my will, but I was like a little bit uneasy about it. I was like, okay, if you say so. And, yeah, then it got bad again. So we both met people. This is where I am like wondering if maybe he met someone before and that's why he wanted to open it again. But that's just me speculating because the first person he met the second time around, he became obsessed with. And we had agreed, you know, seeing someone one time a week, no sleepovers, stuff like that. He was trying to see her multiple times a week. He immediately was asking to sleep over at her house, like pushing my boundaries. And then what was crazy was the first time you know what I said about the veto thing earlier, like either of us could veto at any point. The first time I vetoed, shit hit the fan. It was the day before his 30th birthday, and I just didn't want him spending that with someone else. I was like, I don't want you to turn 30 at midnight and you to be with someone else. That's just does not make me feel good. But he had plans to go see her that day, and in the morning I said that. I was like, I'm feeling a little bit unsure about this. I don't know. Like I think I might ask you not to go, but like just give me some time. And he's like, okay. And then I left and I went to the skate park, and I was like trying to clear my head there and like see how I'd feel. And then when I was there, I was like, you know what? No, I don't feel good about this. So I texted him and I was like, I'm so sorry, but just like, no, like what I said this morning, I don't want you going. I don't know if he responded or not, but when I got home, the fucking doorbell was in the street because he had slammed the front door so fucking hard out of how angry he was. I think a chair was like upside down, like shit was like thrown around. I came home, he had thrown a tantrum and broke shit because I asked him not to go. And this is his second time meeting her. It's not like, you know, they had this crazy thing established. So and I was like, yo, what the fuck? Like I told you this morning, this is what we agreed upon. And he was so mad, and he would always just look like this. Just like a fucking toddler. And it was so bad. And then we came to the, you know, understanding that it was like, no, it's about you being willing not to go see her, and like you responding this way kind of freaks me out. Like I thought, you know, this was our agreement, and I thought I was still your priority, and blah, 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 and whatever. So anyway, it just kind of continued more of the same like that. Like there wasn't anything too crazy. It was just kind of like that. Too crazy until it was. It was just like a constant pushing of my boundaries for the next couple weeks, asking for more and more, asking to see her more, spending more time with her, blah, blah, blah. And then it kind of came to a head. There was a time when we went up to go see his parents, and he was texting her the whole time. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, we are not poly. Poly is different than open. Poly is multiple relationships. Open is just like fucking around, at least by our definition. That's what we agreed on. He's like texting her, and I'm looking over, we're like with his parents, and he's like, like texting her. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, and then I would ask him about it, and I was like, are you still mad at me? Because that's what we said a couple weeks ago, is that you were mad at me, and then it's open again, and you just like forgiven me. And he just kind of was like blank. It's like he had checked out, like he had gone to the sunken place, and I was just talking to a shell of a person, and he was just like, no, not mad. No, I'm good. And then would like go try to see her as often as he could. And it just like shit was not lining up. His actions were not lining up with what he was telling me. And it was becoming like insane in my brain. I was like, what is happening? And yeah, he was like texting her and stuff, and just like was not keeping those boundaries that we agreed upon. And then, oh yeah. And then one time he got back from her house, and, it was like a time that felt like good. It felt like, okay, maybe we can make this work because you just got back from her house. I don't feel gross or bad. And like, I think I had met someone, and it was like, cool. Maybe we're like finding our groove with this. Maybe this can work. Maybe this can work. And we were having a good day. And it felt like giddy and like, maybe this could work. And then that night we were talking, and he had just gotten his first tattoo like 2 weeks before. And I was looking at it, and I was like, man, I can't believe that you only have one tattoo. That's crazy. And he goes, oh, I need to tell you something. She gave me a tattoo. I was like, what? Huh? He goes, yeah, she gave me a tattoo last night. I was like, she marked your fucking body? And he said it was above his knee. So I was like, oh, okay. So now when I see you naked, I'm going to see a tattoo that she gave you? That's crazy. That's crazy. Come to find out, he also gave her a tattoo. And she knit him a hat. So he walks into the house wearing this like periwinkle knit hat. I was like, this shit's crazy. Oh, and to come to find out, she and I had met before because we were in the same roller skating group, but no one thought to tell me that until like weeks in, that apparently I'd met her. I don't remember meeting her. Anyway, so yeah, it was rough. And then I think a couple days after that, I was like, no, this is just not working for me. I'm gonna need this to end. I'm gonna need all of this to end. And he convinced me, and I knew when I agreed to it that it was not a good idea. But I kind of just wanted to see. But he convinced me. He was like, let me just see her one last time. And then I swear it's done. One last time. And I was like, okay, let's see what happens with this. He goes to see her. Couple of our other rules: no meeting friends, no doing drugs with the other person, because drugs are like pretty bonding. Don't worry, he met a bunch of her friends and they all went out and they all did drugs together. They all did Molly, or I'm guessing it was Molly. So crazy boundaries crossed there. He comes home wearing the fucking hat. And I was like, this is crazy. And I literally say, you're done seeing her or I'm leaving. Like this is, I've never felt more disrespected in my entire life. Because yes, okay, an open relationship can be crazy, but I was following all of the rules. Whatever rules you set in place for your relationship, those are the rules. Open, closed, whatever your definition of flirting is, crossing the line, whatever. I was following the rules we had set. He was not. He obviously was like so mad at me and thought I deserved, I guess I'm putting thoughts into his brain, or I'm assuming whatever, but it felt like if you loved someone, how could you see how much pain you were putting them in and then like continue and ask to like go see this girl again and stuff. So yeah, I said, like, you either stop seeing her or I'm leaving. And he said, well, I need some time to think about that because I've like met this new community and I don't know if I want to give that up. And I was like, okay. And I went on Amazon and I ordered some boxes and I started packing my shit. And there was like 3 or 4 days where I was like getting my stuff together and all that. And he was like, can we talk about this? I just need a second. There's too much going on. And then he went back to her house to go think about it. Crazy. So I was just packing my shit. And the biggest thing was figuring out how to get Rocky over. It was like $3,000 to fly him over, but I had to schedule him and he had to get, certain shots and have all these documents and fly Rocky over. And I stopped eating. I didn't eat for days. And so eventually the night that he went to go see her, I didn't sleep. And I just got up at like 6 a.m. I packed as much as I could into a suitcase. I took Rocky and I went over to my friend's house. And when I was there, I booked an Airbnb. So then I moved into an Airbnb. And that was the first night that I was able to eat. I finally ordered some food. And I just had some ramen. Oh, and someone recognized me outside. Like this insane shitstorm of like, no idea what's happening. My husband is saying that he loves me, but is not choosing me. I'm like literally telling him I'm going to leave if he doesn't stop seeing this girl. I'm like crying. I haven't eaten for days. And then I go out to get my ramen and someone goes, oh my God, are you hebotheweb? And I was like, yep, and this is Rocky. Like it was awful. But anyway, so, sorry if this is so drawn out. Well, I guess that's maybe what you're here for. I'm trying to remember like the order of events. But yeah, and then I think we had seen a couples therapist like twice together, the couple weeks leading up to it, which it's always too late when you go to couples therapy. I wanted to go to couples therapy from the beginning just to like have a good foundation. But of course he never fucking like cared to do that. But anyway, so we saw this couples therapist and then I had a session with just her. Well, we had a session, the 3 of us, and I just didn't show up. And then she messaged me separately and she was like, do you want to talk like just to me? And when I called her, she was straight up like, you need to leave him. And like, what therapist is just telling you to do that shit? I was like, I don't know. I'm kind of thinking like maybe we could save it. She was like, no, you need to go. And I was like, I do need to go. But what if? And she was like, no, you need to go. And I was going, it just felt like one foot in front of the other. It felt like I had gone into the sunken place and I didn't know what was happening anymore. And I was just like, what the fuck? Now this is about survival. I can't be in this house anymore with this person. I'm across the entire world away from everyone I know and love. He has an entire support system here. He has friends here, family here. He has this other girl that he's going to see. And I ended up texting her in one of my crazier moments because she made her profile picture it was her giving him a tattoo, her profile picture on WhatsApp. And I said something like, that's very disrespectful. Can you change that picture? And then she like told him about it. And then he was like, she told me you texted her. And I was like, what is this? I'm your wife. So she obviously didn't respect me either based on what he was telling her. You know, he was giving her the go ahead to disrespect me. So anyway, yeah, I get to this Airbnb. I start booking all my shit. I'm booking my flights. I'm still figuring out Rocky. Then my brother, Ty, bless his heart, flew over to London, gave up an opportunity. He was going to play, I think on a late show. It was either on Tiny Desk or on like Jimmy Fallon or something. He was going to play keys for someone. And he gave up that gig to fly to London and help me pack up the rest of my stuff, which is just so crazy. That's a 10-hour flight and a lot of money. So we got an Airbnb together, and yeah, we told my ex to be out of the house at a certain time, and we went in and we packed, I think it was like 10 or 11 boxes, just kind of medium-sized boxes of as much stuff as I could, and then like 2 or 3 suitcases, just everything I could. I had to leave a ton of stuff behind. But just everything I could, like so much. I had to leave my bike. I had to leave my like $300 Vandy mirror that had all these like lights around it. It was like such good quality. Had to leave certain clothes. I had to leave some stuff for Rocky. Like I just couldn't fit everything. All my appliances that I had like curated for our kitchen. We had all these super cute, like I made it like a pastel theme in the kitchen. It was a pastel green toaster, a light blue electric kettle, an orange microwave. Had to leave all of it. Also, that stuff wouldn't work in the US. But so I got the fuck out. I just got my shit and I left. And still at the end, he was like, I don't know. And I just left. And I think I said before I left, because I think I still had the tiniest thread. Like if he just did a 180 right now, and if he just snapped out of it and was like, I'm so fucking sorry, let's fix this. And if he just like became a different person, I still had hope. And so there was like the tiniest thread. And so we agreed, we were like, let's take a couple weeks off. Let's take 2 weeks off and then we'll reconnect. And he was like, I'm going to unfollow her. I'm just going to be by myself, whatever. And I get to America and I unfollowed him and blocked him on everything because I'm not into stalking my exes. I don't need to see it. We're broken up. I don't need to see it. Then I went onto my dog's Instagram and he was still following my ex, my dog. So I ended up seeing a picture and he was wearing the hat that she gave him and still followed her. Had done literally nothing. Actually, oh wait, maybe he apologized one day, because this is all over the course of like a week, from like him getting home with the tattoo to me like leaving London was about a week, I think. And I think one of those days he like broke down and was like, oh, I'll change. And then it like obviously didn't or whatever. And after that, never apologized again. And yeah, so I saw you still following her and all this. And then I like freaked out. I tried calling him like 40 times and he just blocked me. And that was it. And then I filed for divorce that night. I was like, this motherfucker hasn't even tried. He hasn't even tried to resolve this. He hasn't tried to put me first. He hasn't actually like taken accountability for any of this. And so here's what I think happened. I think by me suggesting an open relationship, I think I struck a chord so deep, and I discovered this on mushrooms. I thought about this on mushrooms, so I think it's true. But I think I struck a chord so fucking deep in him, hit his deepest, darkest insecurity that he wasn't man enough. And that was it. I think I flipped a switch. That's why those next few weeks, those next few months, he was doing drugs behind my back. He was lying to me. He was pushing my boundaries. He wasn't respecting me. I think he had gone to the sunken place. His eyes had just glossed over. And I was like, it felt like I was talking to a robot. Like there was just no humanity. I was like, hello. I'm like curled up underneath my desk crying because you didn't come home at the time you said you were going to, and then have been ignoring my calls for the last 3 hours. Hello. And he was just like, yeah, well, this is what you wanted. You wanted it to be open. So anyway, maybe a little messy to go through all that, whatever. But yeah, so I filed for divorce that night, and texted him like, I just filed for divorce, bitch. Ha 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 ha, or something. And then I was like, right, well, we planned on moving to LA together at the top of that year, at the top of 2022. Yeah. And so I was like, well, I'm still going to fucking go. So that's when all my social media money was still coming in. I was like, I'm making enough money right now. It wasn't like super comfortable, but it was enough. I put a down payment on a car, and it was the exact car that I wanted. I was like, I want an orange Subaru Crosstrek, and I got my orange Subaru fucking Crosstrek. And I was like, I'm going to get an apartment, and I'm going to move down there top of January. I found my apartment, and I moved in. I think it was January 3rd. Or no, I left on January 2nd. I took 3 days to drive down. So January 5th is when I moved in. Top of the year. I filled out that apartment. I was like, I am starting my new life. And it was like so go, 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 go that like I kind of didn't really have time to process the sad feelings. I was just like pissed. But then I was like, well, now I have shit to take care of. Like I'm in survival mode. So I was in survival mode for the next like 6 months, just like getting all my shit together. And we ended up talking on the phone like one more time when we were officially divorced. And at the end of the conversation, I was kind of like, yeah, that kind of felt good. It kind of felt like maybe we can be on good terms. And then I was like, wait, he didn't apologize for a single goddamn thing that entire conversation. Wait, fuck this motherfucker. He still doesn't think he did anything wrong or thinks he has anything to apologize for. So after that, I just played him. And we had talked on the phone when we were on good terms about splitting we had some taxes that were owed. And I think he owed me way more money because all my moving costs, of course, came out of my pocket. Setting up my entire life, having to buy a bed frame, a toaster, just like all of the shit that he didn't have to worry about because we bought it together. And he got the deposit back on our apartment so he could put that onto a new one. I had to come up with the deposit for this apartment. So I was out way more, like thousands I had to shell out to start my new life. But then on the phone, we agreed, we were like, let's split the last of the taxes 50-50. I think it was like $6,000 left. And when he didn't apologize or anything, I was like, fuck this motherfucker. I'm just going to play him until I get his money. And then a couple of weeks passed. He finally sent me the money and I paid off the taxes. And I texted him something along the lines of, thank fucking God that's over. No one in my family respects you. Don't ever try to contact any of us ever again. I never want to hear from you ever again. Like, goodbye or something like that. And then I just blocked him on everything. And that's the last we spoke. And then I think he tried to email me a couple months later and was like, hey, the energy bill is really high from our last apartment and it's in your name. Do you think you can call them? Bitch, what? Kiss my fucking ass. How about you use the apartment deposit that you fucking took and didn't give to me and use that to pay off the energy bill, bitch? No, I didn't fucking respond. Kiss my ass. Flying my dog over. I remember we both bought new laptops near the end of our marriage, and the money came out for his when we were still together. So it just came out of the joint account. And then a couple months later, like right when we broke up, mine was about to go through. And I was like, hey, just so you know, $4,000 is about to leave the account. And he goes, yeah, I think that should be a personal expense for just you. I think you should handle that since we're not together. Bitch, what? So I paid for half of your laptop, but you're not going to pay for half of my... Crazy. So it's just shit like that left and right. Zero dignity, zero respect. Like, didn't help me with any of my moving costs or anything. And I survived that shit off of Instagram ads. So all this shit you see me doing, like the little Sally videos, the little DoorDash videos, the little Balesa videos, that's what that's for. So I can pay my goddamn rent. And I went into debt last year. So that's where all my money troubles came from, is like just having that massive, like, paradigm shift. Just my life got flipped, turned upside down. And I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. So, wow, that was long. But I finally did it. I can't believe it. I just shared basically my whole divorce story. And I just got snot on my mic. It was a lot, but I've learned so much. I don't regret it. I landed in LA at 25. I wanted to be divorced so bad before my 26th birthday, and it happened a couple months before because I wanted to go into the new year like free. And then it took another couple months to change my last name and get my last name updated on everything, like bank accounts and stuff like that. And that felt so good. Getting my debit cards with my new name. Oh my God. I can't explain how good that felt to like just get him the fuck off me. I'm not changing my last name ever again. Why the fuck would I do that? I do have a tattoo of his initial behind my ear though. I want to get that changed into something. I don't know what though, because it's kind of like spread and looks kind of blurry now. So I don't know what to do with it, but that was a lot. That was a lot. But yeah, so now I'm just not interested in a relationship. I've been single now 2 years. I left November 2021 and it's now December 2023. So it's been 2 years. And yeah, I don't want a relationship because I feel like I kind of only want to be in a relationship, like a real relationship, when I feel like I'm okay if I don't ever date anyone ever again after this, because non-monogamy is not for me. And I don't want to get into a relationship knowing or having in the back of my mind that like, oh yeah, but I'm not done dating yet. And maybe that's trying to plan stuff a little too much. I don't know, but I think I would feel trapped. So I don't know why also it feels like I have this arbitrary like time limit on me. Like, oh, you better like hurry up and figure all your shit out so you can like get back to being in a real relationship. But it's like, no, I can be single for the next 10 years. I could be single forever. It doesn't matter. But I keep thinking like, oh, I need to hurry up and like hook up with a bunch of people or figure myself out fully sexually before I meet someone and want to settle down with them again, because I don't want that to happen again. I don't want to be with someone and feel like I've missed out or I haven't done enough before I settle down in quotes. But there is no rush. I don't have to be in anything anytime soon. I don't want to be. That's why dating has been weird, because like it's fun to date and it's like fun to meet people. Like I said before, I don't need to hook up. I don't need to have sex. It's like fun to kiss people, but I don't need it. But sometimes it's just fun. But then I find myself going on dates and I'm like, oh wait, why am I here? Because I'm not one to just hook up without any emotional attachment, but also if I start creating an emotional attachment, what am I doing? Because that's not what I want right now. And it's not like I'm resisting something that I actually want. It's really like, oh, I like this person. We went on a date. And then halfway through, I'm like, why am I here? Because yeah, they're nice, but like, I'm just not in the place. I'm not in the place. I don't feel like it. I don't want to. I ain't got the time. I ain't got the energy. I feel like I'm missing out on shit still. Anyway, so that's kind of where I am. And that's kind of what my dating is like right now. Casual yet intentional is kind of how I describe my dating. Yeah. Intentional because I'm not into carelessness. So I only want to surround myself. Like, why would I have bad experiences or bad hookups or boring? Like, I don't want to be around people I'm not into. But casual because I don't want to date you. Shit. But okay, this one went long. Hour and 20-ish minutes. But okay, great. I have to go to a meeting in a bit. Hopefully my hair dries cute. Who knows? You never know. With the natural hair, it's always a gamble every day. Maybe I should lock it, maybe not. Also, don't call it dreads. Dreads are out. Locks are in. Yeah, I'm sad that Rocky was here the entire time, but you couldn't see him. He loves to do that. He loves to be just out of frame. But all right, let me not drag out the ending. I will say this. It's nice when you like and subscribe. You don't gotta, but it's nice. And I will catch you guys on the next Heb Hangs. Farewell.